In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your
Right now at noon, a search warrant served at the home of the two men accused of murdering Ahmaud Arbery. And tracking Georgia's next possible COVID-19 hotspots, the new research showing which community could be hit the hardest. And many people filled with anxiety and battling depression during this pandemic. Hear from a psychiatrist on the best way to nurture your mental health.
11Alive News at noon starts now.
And our top story at noon on this Wednesday, a new search warrant served in connection with the Ahmaud Arbery murder case. The GBI says its investigators went to Travis and Gregory McMichael's home last night in Brunswick, but the agency wouldn't say what, if anything, was taken from the home. The father and son are accused of chasing down Arbery back in February, the son, Travis, shooting him during the confrontation. The pair telling police they thought Arbery was behind recent burglaries in the neighborhood, but attorneys for Arbery's family say there's no evidence he committed a crime, adding he was unarmed while trying to defend himself against the McMichaels, who had guns. Meanwhile, we're getting a look at police body cam video from nearly 3 years ago showing officers stopping and questioning Arbery, one of them even attempting to tase him. In the video, an officer approaches Arbery, who's sitting in his car at a park, and asks what he's doing. He says he was rapping. The officer says he's checking for suspicious activity in the area and asks for Arbery's ID. According to the police report, the officer didn't find any outstanding warrants, but the officer says Arbery became aggressive, so he called for a second officer. The video shows that officer trying to tase Arbery as he walks back to his car, but the stun gun malfunctioned. Ultimately, Arbery is allowed to walk away moments later without being charged. Less than a month later, police arresting Arbery for shoplifting at a Walmart.
You have a victim shot dead in the streets, and give it a few days, and suddenly you start seeing images of that victim cast in a light as a criminal.
That's Lee Merritt, one of the attorneys representing Arbery's family. He says he believes the videos were released in an effort to shift attention away from the men arrested in his death. The NAACP of Atlanta has also called for the GBI to investigate how Glynn and Ware counties have handled incidents involving black defendants and victims over the past 20 years. Well, the alert for 3 missing children from Jackson County has now been canceled. The GBI confirming Cole, Madeline, and Tyler Allen were all safely returned home. The 5, 7, and 9-year-olds were last seen in Jackson yesterday morning. Investigators at the time believe they were with Anthony Allen. Anthony Allen has since returned the children home. Turning now to the latest on Georgia's coronavirus response. And right now, there are nearly 39,000 confirmed cases. Nearly 1,700 people have died. That's according to the State Department of Public Health. More than 7,000 people have been hospitalized so far. Researchers at the University of Georgia fear that if there's a second wave of coronavirus cases, areas of the state that report the poorest overall health will be hit the hardest. Mara Siriani explains where scientists say the next hotspot could erupt.
Researchers at UGA's College of Public Health strongly believe that community is Southwest Georgia. Researchers say they looked at several factors, including the underlying health conditions in every county in the state. They analyzed the highest incidence of heart disease, obesity, and diabetes, as well as the number of older folks and minorities. When mapping out those counties, researchers say they line up perfectly with the areas of Georgia hit hardest by COVID-19 deaths and infections, particularly in Southwest Georgia, which has the highest percentage of coronavirus cases compared to population.
So where risk factors are more prominent and we have vulnerable groups, we need to be even more careful. There are certain communities that are more vulnerable, and those communities might need a little extra resource, extra focus.
Again, the goal of this research is to better assess our state and its vulnerable communities should that second wave become a reality.
This week, Georgia will start ramping up contact tracing. It is the first line of defense to stop the spread of coronavirus. And it's an action the state failed to take during the beginning of the pandemic that could have prevented infections. Andy Parati explains how it works.
We're so excited. Andy? Awesome.
As Georgians continue to take advantage of takeout, the possibility of picking up the coronavirus remains. Atlanta restaurant Little Ray learned that a few weeks ago, leaving this voicemail for the public after one of its employees tested positive.
Due to a possible exposure and out of abundance of caution, we are temporarily suspending service at Little Ray.
Thank you.
The restaurant is back open after it says it immediately notified staff, who then followed CDC quarantine guidelines. Infectious disease experts say an increase in contact tracing this week will help to stop the spread. Here's how it works. After a local health department is notified someone tests positive for COVID-19, a contact tracer tracks down the infected patient. They then request contact information of the people who they were around, starting at least 2 days before exhibiting symptoms. But not everyone. Only people who are within 6 feet for 15 minutes or more at a time. Fazle Khan is the chief epidemiologist at Fulton County's Board of Health.
Even if, let's say, a person who was infected was working behind the counter or somewhere and was just casually serving people, that would not constitute a close contact. But his or her fellow staff who are working in and around them in close proximity would be close contacts. If a person is a school teacher, on the other hand, it could be 100 kids that were potentially, and then others, faculty and staff, that could have been potentially infected.
Identities of positive COVID-19 patients are kept anonymous. Those exposed are asked to self-quarantine for at least 14 days.
Contact tracing is going to be really important.
Bob Bednarchek is an assistant professor of global health and epidemiology at Emory's Rollins School of Public Health.
Even if they don't personally feel ill, they can still be infected, they can still be potentially spreading the virus.
Some Georgia counties just started using software to monitor the infected. The voluntary pilot program sends text messages to notify people who are potentially exposed. But Bednarchek says that shouldn't replace what he calls shoe leather epidemiology.
I think there is something to be said about that individual level contact, speaking to someone who can go through the detailed information about the importance of isolation, of checking your temperature regularly, of avoiding contact, keeping that physical distance from other people during that period.
Fulton County says it needs at least 70 contact tracers to keep pace with increased testing. So far, it has about 40.
Seeing that we don't have the current staffing levels to manage this. Maybe a little bit of a wake-up call for us to see that, these investments in public health.
So many small businesses have been hit hard by the pandemic. And tonight, a virtual event is all about getting them the resources they need. Atlanta hip-hop star and entrepreneur T.I. will co-host the virtual town hall along with Ashley Bell. Bell is the regional administrator for the Small Business Administration appointed by President Trump. According to the SBA, there were more than 130,000 recipients in Georgia during the second round of loans.
Minority entrepreneurs in the state of Georgia have 0 to 10 days of working capital, which means when their doors close, the clock is ticking. We are afraid that we could lose a generation of entrepreneurs if we don't get this right.
The virtual town hall starts tonight at 6, and we have a link on our website, 11alive.com. Just click on this story. Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms reissuing 3 administrative orders extending to-go alcohol sales, curbside parking, and water shutoff orders. The first directs the Department of Watershed Management not to cut off water services if someone doesn't pay their bill. Parking enforcement officers are banned from ticketing or towing vehicles parked in the right-of-way. This is meant to help restaurants offer curbside pickup and takeout. The final order allows restaurants to continue to offer alcohol to go. The orders run through June 30th. Well, we know that face masks now keep a person from passing coronavirus droplets in the air, but there are also claims that wearing a mask can make someone sick from carbon dioxide poisoning. Our National Verify team looks into it.
Let's start with the claims. A few of you sent us this image titled Masks and Carbon Dioxide Toxicity. It says masks could trap exhaled carbon dioxide and cause us to breathe it back in, which it claims leads to CO2 intoxication or poisoning. Symptoms include breathing problems, muscle twitches, loss of judgment, and more. The image is being used as justification for not wearing masks right now. But is it true? Simple answer, carbon dioxide can be dangerous at high levels, but experts don't believe face masks put you at risk. Our sources here are the CDC and the USDA. So the USDA details how different levels of carbon dioxide affect us. Increase the concentration and you can experience drowsiness, increased heart rate, all the way to possible confusion and unconsciousness. So at high levels, carbon dioxide can cause physical effects. The key question is whether it's actually building to those dangerous levels in masks. The CDC says it's unlikely in medical masks and even less likely in homemade masks. They said carbon dioxide can build up over time in masks, but not to dangerous levels. At worst, you may get a headache, but certainly not carbon dioxide poisoning. And that's based on research about medical quality equipment like N95 masks. They have tighter seals and allow less air in and out. Homemade masks, especially cloth ones, aren't great at stopping air from going in or out, period. And that's not their purpose. The CDC says their use is to catch droplets that could spread the virus. So bottom line, while high concentrations of carbon dioxide can affect your health, we can verify the claims that masks are causing carbon dioxide poisoning or toxicity are false. Keep in mind, you shouldn't be wearing these for long periods anyway. The CDC only recommends masks when you're out in public and when you can't social distance.
All right, coming up, Dr. B on deck, and he'll be answering your mental health questions. So let us know if you have one by texting us at 404-885-7600. We're here to help. And remember, text, don't call.
.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
And we're back. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and for many people, mental health is becoming even more important now as many of us are trying to find ways to cope during this uncertain time. And we know you have many questions. Psychiatrist and author Dr. Suvrat Bhargave, also known as Dr. B, joining us live now to address some of your mental health concerns. So let us know if you have a question by texting 404-885-7600. Thank you for joining us, Dr. B.
Thank you, Sheba, for having me. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad you're with us. So I want to start by asking you, why is it even more important to recognize the challenges of mental health during these difficult times?
Well, like you said, May happens to be Mental Health Awareness Month, and that's something we've been commemorating since the 40s here in the U.S. But I think we need to stop and really think about what we're talking about here. We're talking about bringing awareness for mental health issues, but also we're trying to break stigma. So if you just think about the number that 1 in 5 Americans have had some kind of mental illness, that means that you or someone you know has struggled with this. And I think the opportunity that we have right now in these challenging times is that we've all felt thrown off at least a little bit, and some people have been thrown off a lot by what we're going through. And to me, the best way to break stigma is to find something you have in common. So we are in this together. There are ways we can help one another, and we should really make our emotional health be a priority.
To talk about it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the most important thing to do. Talk about it and listen.
Yeah. All right. Let's start with this question from Miley. She says, my May wedding was postponed and I'm broken up about it. I can't bring myself to set a new date and start so much of the planning process over again. How do I find my focus and make this wedding happen?
Wow. Well, Miley, I'm really sorry that your day didn't go as planned. I know you probably had a lot of great expectations for that day, and when it doesn't go that way, it's certainly very hurtful. I think what you're probably really asking me, though, is how to deal with disappointment. So for you, it happens to be about the wedding. For someone else watching right now, it might be the graduation ceremony that didn't go according to plan, or the vacation that they can't take anymore. So when it comes to dealing with disappointment, the first step is let yourself feel it. Let yourself feel it completely. We're often too quick to pick ourselves back up or distract ourselves, but if you don't feel it completely, it's going to come back later on, and you don't want that to happen when you least expect it. So feel it completely. Once you've felt it completely, find a way to reframe it. Reframing it means finding an objective way to think about your situation. So you're not alone. This isn't because you did something wrong. Really think about the self-talk that you have in your head at that time, because when we're disappointed, it's easy to go down the half-empty path. So really think about the self-talk. And then the last step of dealing with disappointment is have a plan. And for some people, that plan might be that they do pick up and start planning for the wedding again. And for someone else, the plan is that they're going to put that aside and just think about someone or something else. Whatever is right for you, that's the really important thing to do. But you need a way to step forward. So, Miley, I hope it goes well the next time. I'm sure it will be beautiful.
Yeah, it's not that the wedding's not going to happen. It's just going to happen later on. And I'm sure you're going to make a beautiful bride, Miley. Our next question comes from Troy. He says, I make a point to read every night, but then devote an hour or two to my favorite streaming shows. Is it better for my mind to watch something educational, or can I just zone out with my guilty pleasures?
Oh, wow. Well, I would
with you,
tell
Troy.
you, I think it's okay to have guilty pleasures. At least I hope so, because I certainly have mine.
Yeah.
You know, guilty pleasures are activities or interests that bring some value to you, whether they bring value to anyone else around you or not. So whether that's 80s music or murder podcasts or reality TV, I might have given a few of mine away there. That's what guilty pleasures are. The heads up I would give you, though, Troy, is be careful not to let a guilty pleasure become an obsession. An obsession is when you do it at the cost of other things, so things that you need to be doing or should be doing. Obsessions also have a kind of a desperation associated with them. So the way to make sure you don't cross that line is two things. Number one, have some kind of limit. You mentioned a time limit, so have a limit, and then have a way to balance. So maybe for every 20 minutes you spend on the treadmill, you get to binge another episode of your favorite show, or maybe you balance a self-help book with a romance novel. But limit and balance, and then if you're doing that, then I say, yeah, go for the guilty pleasure, and I'm sure Sheba has them too, right, Sheba?
Yeah, listen, The Last Dance on ESPN, that's been my guilty pleasure over the last few weeks. But now it's over! What are we going to do when our shows are over, huh, Dr. B?
We find the next guilty pleasure. We move on.
All right, thank you for joining us. We will be back with Dr. B answering more of your mental health questions. In the meantime, as we head to break, students in Cobb and Gwinnett celebrating the last day of school today. Other students getting out later this week. We want to know, what are you most excited about as school ends and summer begins, and how are you coping with summer break during a pandemic? What do you have planned? Email us at whereatlantaspeaks@11alive.com or leave us a message at 678-765-9514. Be sure to include your name, phone number, and where you live. We may share your message on air.
Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
And we are back with psychiatrist and author Dr. B answering your mental health questions. Dr. B, this question comes from Andres. He asks, I used to travel every week for work and loved it. Now I'm chained to my computer at home with conference call after conference call. I try to stay active outside of work, but feel like the walls are closing in. How can I get in a better headspace?
Yeah, Andres, I think you're describing what a lot of people are finding out, which is Zoom certainly gets the job done, but it's not satisfying. Face-to-face human contact, think of that sort of as a very necessary vitamin for your brain. So it's not to replace it by doing these conference calls. So find ways that you can, in a safe way, have some of that. So whether that is having a picnic on a really pretty day or finding a way to set up your chair in the driveway of a neighbor. Have some way to have some good face-to-face. And then the other thing I would think of is, you said you have a love of travel. So break that down further. Find out what it is about travel in particular that you really like. So if you really like a new culture, then maybe consider learning a new language online. Or if you like new places or new settings, then explore one of the state parks around this area. Or I'm even going to call out the elephant in the room here. If travel helps you to get away from people in your home, then find a way that you can still have your alone time and the other people in the house can have their alone time. That's actually really healthy to do.
Oh, okay. While still staying home. Okay, I thought you were going to say board a plane. All right.
Not just yet, maybe. Soon, I hope. I've got a wanderlust too.
Yeah. Well, there's some great spots to drive to as well.
All right, right here.
Yeah. Okay, so our next question is from Aiden. He asks, I've been feeling really down the past couple of weeks. I work out, get enough sleep, but still wake up tired. I'm working from home, but I feel so drained I can barely focus. What's a good way to get my energy and concentration levels back up? This is sort of in line with our previous question. People are really feeling it and trying to find ways to keep motivated.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that Aiden wrote in, because there's a few things that you said, Aiden, that have got me thinking a little bit and a little worried, if I'm being honest. I'm wondering a little bit about signs of depression. Depression is a mood disorder, would certainly include sadness or irritability or negativity. But there are a couple of signs and symptoms of depression that people don't think about. One of them is a loss of energy, being tired a lot, so having a lot of fatigue. The other one is having trouble with concentration, so being less focused, harder time following conversations or retaining information. So those symptoms, along with others, can sometimes be signs of depression. A lot of what you said could be explained by other things too, nutritional issues, metabolic issues, so vitamin deficiencies or thyroid, for example. But I want to make sure first and foremost that you are emotionally well. So reach out to a doctor, reach out to a psychiatrist, a therapist. If this is depression or something in the beginning stages of that, there is a way for you to feel better, and I want you to be able to have that.
All right. Thank you, Aiden, for writing in, and to our other viewers as well. And thank you so much, Dr. B, for answering our questions. We know these are some trying times, and it's important that we're here together for all of it.
We are. Thank you, Shiva.
All right. Thank you. We'll be back, everybody.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. on 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you. We hear you.
Well, this next story will definitely put a smile on your face and perhaps bring a tear to your eye. A Georgia nurse returned home over the weekend after 6 weeks of volunteering in New York City. She expected the tears to fall once she saw her family at the airport, but as Hope Ford shares with us, she wasn't prepared for what happened next.
Many of us have had that moment, running through the airport to catch a plane. But on Saturday, Nick Stidham ran through Hartsfield-Jackson to catch the love of his life.
She's very intentional and very caring.
She is Carly Preston, a nurse who headed to New York City's Bellevue Hospital last month.
She said if I go there and I don't save anybody, but I'm there to hold their hand when they pass away and they know that they're not alone, then I've done my job.
Their temporary separation was difficult as Carly worked to save lives.
But he's what got me through the day, a lot of the days. Because I had a lot of hard days, and by the end of the day, he was the only one I wanted to talk to.
Nick, a chemistry teacher, stayed in Georgia educating students online. They FaceTimed every night, praying for guidance. But Nick knew his next step.
I knew about a week into her being in New York that I was going to propose as soon as she got back.
I mean, as soon as she got back.
Yes, literally as soon as she got back.
A month and a half later, Carly's flight landed early, sending an already nervous Nick into a panic.
And I looked at my sister and I was like, I'm going to puke. I'm so nervous right now. I'm going to throw up in the car because we're not going to make it in time.
Spoiler alert, he made it.
The side that I walked into said, "Welcome home, Carly, our healthcare hero." He brought me around to the other side of the sign and said, "Will you marry me?"
Nick and Carly, a couple serving as essential workers, will now spend the rest of their lives making sure they know how essential they are to each other.
I don't care if we live in a car. I don't care if we live in a house. The one thing that I know is I don't want to walk through any part of life without her.
Nick, you're making me cry. The two plan to enjoy this week together before Carly heads back to work this weekend, closer to home in cardiovascular ICU at Northeast Georgia Medical in Gainesville. Congratulations to the couple. Thank you for watching 11Alive News at noon. Have a great day.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time.